Moving on to Best Surprise Actor or Actress. I'd say this is pretty self-explanatory, but any performance throughout the year that surprised us for any number of reasons. Jay, what do you have as your nominees for this category?
Yeah, my nominees are going to be Charles Melton, because I only knew him as like the teeny bopper Archie guy. Josh Hartnett, even though he'd made some comebacks in Guy Ritchie's movies.
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie was really the one that started the Hartnett-assance, and I want that on the record.
Fair enough.
Benny Safdie, just because, as far as narratives are concerned, the breakup of the Safdies was like a really weird thing, and I was like, really, Benny's trying to be an actor? And then I saw his acting performances, and I was like, oh, wait, he's actually one of our great young actors. So that happened. Kaylee Spaney, as has been mentioned a couple times already, and Harris Dickinson, not because I didn't think that Harris Dickinson wasn't a good actor, but because I didn't know he had Texas Wrestler in him, and boy, oh boy, did he have Texas Wrestler in him. So
yeah, he does.
Shout out Harris Dickinson. But my winner is going to be Benny Safdie, because I was following that Safdie breakup so closely, and I was so frustrated, and then I saw his very different performances in Oppenheimer and Margaret, and then The Curse, if you want to delve into the TV world. And it's like, okay, so I guess I understand why he might want to do that, as befuddling as it might seem on the surface for the Uncut Gems guys to break up. He's a really good actor. And then I also just rewatched Licorice Pizza, and he's awesome in that too. So Benny Safdie, my pick.
Okay.
No, I love that. I love that, Jay, and that's why Benny Safdie is also a nominee for me.
Look at that.
Particularly for "Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret." I think he's.
Yeah, that was the one that kind of came out of nowhere.
I was like,
yeah,
this really gentle.
What the heck is this? And he's absolutely fantastic in it. Jacob Elordi for Priscilla. I always thought he was, a Sam Levinson sort of creation, and that's never a good thing. And
he's so tall.
It's so tall, so beautiful. How much time do we have about Jacob Elordi? But anyway,
and all the bacon that he ate for Priscilla.
He's gonna be Frankenstein now.
He's a big piece of bacon.
Yes.
I like to eat.
Yeah.
Anyway, his performance in Priscilla, great. Claire Foy and All of Us Strangers. Listen, I don't hate Claire Foy. I was just surprised. These last three ones, I was surprised at how much they stayed with me for actors that usually their performances usually don't stay with me a lot.
Sure.
And so Claire Foy's performance in All of Us Strangers, it really stayed with me. And I think it might be some of the best work, if not the best work of her career. Viola Davis in Air. Usually that movie would feel like that, that's just going to be a throwaway kind of performance. Viola Davis just put all of it.
Finally, Viola Davis putting it together.
I just didn't feel like. I felt like some of the last couple of performances.
Oscar winner, what?
I mean, I would say this performance is better than Fences, and I like this a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, and last one, because there's a ton of performances in Oppenheimer that you could talk about and put in this spot. But for 3 minutes in that movie, Casey Affleck's the most terrifying thing, and I was surprised.
Yeah, he was almost a nominee for me.
He was like low key, just like not hanging. He's not been discussed a lot about just how terrifying his scene is. But my winner is Jacob Elordi for Priscilla. Far be it to say,
tall.
So last year we had a what do you call it, a big Austin Butler assance, and everybody just started like fawning themselves over.
Don't jump him over Austin Butler on the superstar.
2023 showed that somebody could really play Elvis and be the better performance 100% for me.
It's such a different performance.
I'm not even gonna. I don't think the comparisons are even worthy of talking about it.
I agree.
They're asking for different things.
It's funny how I let you guys talk. But anyway, I want that duly noted on the record. And I think Elordi, yes, I think between his performance in that and his performance in Saltburn, he had a really strong year. Really be able to show that he's more than just the television. I wouldn't even say star, just kind of performer that he is.
Yeah.
And I think that his work there is fantastic. There's a menacingness to it that is not explored or has been explored a lot. I think in performances about Elvis Presley. And I think that, there were moments, like there's a moment when he is standing outside the car in the first act of the film, waiting to pick up Priscilla. And he looked exactly like Elvis Presley. He carried himself like that. And guess what? He has a normal speaking voice still. So there you go. That's all you have to say.
Six inches taller. Man, that guy's tall.
What a cool last
So
name.
tall.
What a cool last name. Might have the coolest last name of all time.
Alordi?
Yeah.
Good lordy, Alordi. Yeah.
Lordy.
I love it.
That'll be the next T-shirt.
Yeah.
Write it down. Write it down. That's a winner right there. My nominees for Best Surprise Actor or Actress include Melissa Barrera for Scream 6, Dave Bautista for Knock on the Cabin, Bradley Cooper for Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves,
Hell yeah.
Patrick Dempsey for Ferrari,
Ooh.
and Marshawn Lynch for Bottoms.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it. I should have put Marshawn Lynch. I
should have
totally
put
forgot
Marshawn on my
Lynch.
list. Oh, that's a good one. That's a great one. That's
Yep.
a great one, Brendan.
Yeah, and I almost gave it to Marshawn Lynch just for those reasons that you guys are also alluding to there. But my winner here is actually Melissa Barrera for Scream 6, and it has nothing to do with all the commentary around Scream 7, which I don't want to get into. But if anything, it's really emblematic of how her performance in Scream 6 is probably the biggest cinematic improvement in performance I think I can remember seeing in a long time. I think she is the worst thing in Scream 5. Scream 5, I don't care for. I think she is far and away the worst thing in it, though.
I agree.
I like whatever new direction she got between Scream 5 and Scream 6. Honestly, it almost felt like a completely different person. I've never seen that kind of improvement, at least in a genre film like this. So just because of that jump, I feel the urge to give it to her. And I think she's the best thing in Scream 6. I was really interested in what the character of Sam Carpenter was going to do and represent in this saga going forward. And it's unfortunate that, given these circumstances, we're not going to see that happen. But I do think she's really good and underrated in that movie.
All right. Yeah, good stuff there. All right, my nominees are Glenn Howerton for his performance in Blackberry. Going to the world of Oppenheimer, there's so many great options to choose from. As Ryan noted, my nominee from Oppenheimer is Bernard himself, David Krumholtz, in his role in Oppenheimer.
Good
Absolutely
stuff.
loved
Good
him there.
stuff.
Adele Exarchopoulos in the film Wing Women. I love Adele Exarchopoulos. You've never seen her as you see her in that film. Absolutely.
The way you described that movie to me, I was like, I should have
seen
watched
that
it. I
one.
really should have watched it.
Absolutely.
I gotta watch that
fun.
one. Put it on the
I just wish she was.
Letterboxd list
She's such an eyesore on screen.
I know. Just so terrible to look at. I know. But yeah, she's just incredibly magnetic and fun in that film. Zac Efron for The Iron Claw. Great performance. His best performance by far, as I'm concerned, in The Iron Claw. And then my last nominee here, Rupert Friend for his chapter of The Swan in the Anderson Doll shorts. Collectively, I will refer to it all as The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, because that
It's
is
one film.
the
It's an
name of
anthology
that
film.
It's one film, an anthology film, absolutely. And my winner is Rupert Friend and his performance in The Swan. So
Yeah, he's very good in that.
that whole movie, in essence, is about the art of adaptation. And when we talked about it here on the show, I said, maybe it's hyperbole, I don't know. But I think his narration in that film is some of the best I've ever heard. I think it is one of the best voiceover narration performances of all time.
If it wins me over, then it is working, because I'm usually not a fan of voiceover narration.
The way he is able to slip between characters is phenomenal. It's hysterical. He almost performs it like an audiobook, but he's articulating not just his character of Peter Watson, but he's articulating the bullies. He's articulating the overall story, every character and the setting, and he's able to, without any rigidness whatsoever, go between these various elements. It is such a strikingly effective performance that is very funny. There's a childlike mentality to it, but the more he taps into Peter's troubled experience at the hands of these bullies, the more pathos he gives that whole sequence as well. He fully embraces the tragedy of it all, and it is really felt at the end of it, given that last shot and what we see there. It is remarkable. It's Andersonian, of course, in some of the very best ways, but the way he's able to balance humor and tragedy, it's unbelievable. I was jaw dropped with that performance, and and The Swan. So Rupert Friend, as far as I'm concerned, gives one of the best performances of the year, and he's my winner for best
And
surprise
that's your
actor.
favorite segment of the four, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
for
I
sure.
thought. Yeah, it's good stuff.